Let's go to 1 Corinthians 13, the charity verse. I just wanted to read this verse to you and just make a point. 1 Corinthians 13, we know it talks about charity. But look at verse 6 and 7. It says, "It rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. Beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things." Now, if you look at verse 7, it doesn't look like a very comfortable verse, does it? It's bearing things. It's enduring things. It's like trying to put trust in things and thinking the best of other people. And the point I just want to make is, true love, like true love that God wants us to have, it's love that's proved in the bad times. True love is proved in the bad times, not in the good times. So when everything's going smooth, when everything's going great, and you're like, "Oh, I love my husband, I love my wife, everything's going great." Well, it's because that's not the extent of love that we should have, because it's easy to love somebody when they love you. But true love, the real love that God wants us to have, is the love that's in the bad times. For better, for worse, for sickness and in health, right? For richer, for poorer. So true love is proved in the bad times. So beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things. So the question is, how can you have true charity in your relationship if you're not bearing anything? If you're not enduring anything? You're not believing in anything. I mean, if you're not bearing anything, then you don't have charity, because charity says it bears all things. If you're not enduring anything, then you can't experience charity. So part of the reason why God allows us to go through these conflicts is to teach us charity, so that we would grow in charity, because it's an opportunity to express charity. Because if you never bear anything, you never endure anything, then you're never going to put this passage into practice. Let's go to Luke 6. Is that the passage I wanted to go to? 6. Yes, it is. All right, we'll read from verse 26. It says, "Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets." So this is the context. It says, "But I say unto you which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you." So, that's not something that we would do naturally, is it? But this is true love, right? Love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them which curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. So just try and apply this to a marriage, when sometimes you feel like your wife or your husband hates you, or they're despitefully using you. What's the command of God? To love them, to do good to them, to bless them that curse you, pray for them. "And unto him that smiteth thee on the one cheek, offer also the other. And him that taketh away thy cloak, forbid not to take thy coat also. Give to every man that asketh of thee. And of him that taketh away thy goods, ask them not again. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. For if ye love them which love you, what thank have ye?" And this is the point I was trying to get at. True love is in the bad, not in the good. Because look at what Jesus says here. "If ye love them which love you, what thank have ye?" What are you doing so great when somebody loves you and you love them back? That's not the level of love that God wants us to strive for. It's saying here, "If ye love them which love you, what thank have ye? For sinners also love those that love them. So you're no different to just an unbeliever. And if ye do good to them which do good to you, what thank have ye? For sinners also do even the same. And if ye lend to them of whom ye hope to receive, what thank have ye? For sinners also lend to sinners to receive as much again. But love ye your enemies, and do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again." See, so when you do something for your spouse, you need to do it unconditionally. Don't have strings attached, and then when she doesn't do something or whatever, you bring up fasting. "But I did all these things for you." Well, you didn't really love her in the sense that God wants you to love her if you're saying you're trying to use that as bargaining power for the next time. It says here, "And lend, hoping for nothing again, and your reward shall be great. And ye shall be the children of the highest, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful." So love is proved in the bad times, not in the good. true love, the love that God wants us to have.